was 22 games unbeaten.
It was.
However, I just want to rein it back in a bit because we don't usually do this. Like we were including games in competitions that are second rate at best. This is Arsenal fans getting a bit gassed because they're just trying to bump. Like, I would say stat padding. That's what it is, stat padding. Included Brentford from the League Cup. And I think it's 2 League Cup games you played now. Blackpool as well. 5-6 games in the Europa League, a competition that none of the top 6 aim to qualify any season. So let's just take it back in. It's 15 Premier League games. Welcome, guys, to Neeks Sports Podcast, episode 8. I am here in the studio with Kyle, our resident guest, Ramone, of course, and our guest today, Chama, the Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And we're going to start with Arsenal. 22 games, or was it 21? Correct me if I'm wrong. 22. 22 games unbeaten. And it all came down like a stack of cards at St. Mary's. And you couldn't have been expecting it. I mean, maybe you were, but I wasn't. Southampton have been in the relegation zone pretty much since the season started. I know they got a new manager. They got a good result against 20 times Premier League champions Manchester United. So maybe that gave them a bit of a... Why are you rolling your eyes, bro?
Carry on.
Doesn't mean much to you.
Maybe that gave them a bit of confidence. I don't know. But they got a big win, unexpected win that lifted them outside the relegation zone. And Arsenal brought back down to earth, maybe? What are you saying, Chama?
It's a bump in the road. I wasn't expecting it. No, I wasn't expecting it. It was a surprising performance. But I was saying to Ramone yesterday, there were a couple of things that I think cracks. I wouldn't say cracks are starting to show, but certain things with Unai Emery's management that are starting to come up that I think need to be looked at. So the first one is he's got this super sub record. I think at this point in the season, most goals and assists from the bench or something. One of these stats that people.
I know as a team you've scored the most in the second half. Than
yeah, and that's the other thing. The second half record, we haven't won a first half or gone into half time in the league. I don't even think we've probably done it in the Europa League.
Done Europa.
But not in the Premier League. Ain't done that. And you've got to start questioning why the players that finish games strongly don't start games. For me, Lacazette has to be starting. I know Ramsey just came back, but he has to be starting. At the start of the season, we had a similar thing with Torreira, who wasn't starting, and I can hear people saying, "Oh, it's different."
Because he came from the World Cup.
Yeah, came from the World
New
Cup.
signing as well.
But yeah, I think that was the main feeling I had after the game was. Well, one, defensively we're not good enough, which is the other major issue. Yeah, well, we've seen that all season.
But I've said it from early. Like, I say early. I've seen enough of it to say I don't see much difference defensively of Arsenal compared to what we were seeing under Wenger. Some people have said there is, but it's still like poor is poor, innit? Maybe it's the left back making a mistake and not the right back. But I think defensively, I haven't seen much of a difference.
The biggest defensive difference we got is Lucas Torreira. We got a holding midfielder, but in terms of the back four, you're absolutely right. It's not improved. We're not necessarily that much better. We're winning games like 3-2 against Cardiff, 4-2 in the derby, conceded 2 sloppy goals at Old Trafford. So
good team over
not
Manchester.
Really,
so,
not really though.
That can happen, man.
No, not really. That should have been 3 points for us. I'm not even saying that as
banter. Based on like form or not the balance?
Based
on
form,
play?
Form going into that game.
Okay, yeah.
I think even you, if you're being honest, would say
I didn't think we'll lose because of the whole record of Arsenal. Yeah,
the record,
not based on the form itself.
Yeah, exactly. Getting into that game based on form and actually watching the game. We conceded sloppy goals.
I think we did as well, but yeah.
We're talking about Arsenal.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, we conceded sloppy goals. The North London derby, it was Wenger-esque the way that second half ended. It was literally, I felt like I'm watching, that could have been last season, 3 seasons ago. What is it, 5 minutes? 1-0 up, 2-1 down. And one of them was a penalty, one of them is predictable delivery from Ericsson. So everyone knew what was going to happen there. Boom. And yesterday, three crosses.
3 goals.
Yeah, 3 crosses, 3 goals. it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Defensively, we're just as poor as we always have been, which I know how you feel about Ramsey, but I don't know why we haven't improved. I don't know if it's a personnel. I thought it was never a personnel issue under Wenger, because for one simple reason, which personnel can you blame? He had loads of central defence. Would you blame Kolo Toure? Would you blame William Gallas? Would you blame? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go, the list goes on. Now, again, I feel like, is it a personnel issue, or it's hard to say it's something within the club. The whole coaching backroom has totally changed. Maybe it's a case of defence is harder to work on and takes a longer time to solidify than attack, because you pretty much buy talented attacking players and not just let them do their thing, but you give them a structure. But Arsenal have always had talented attacking players. That's never been a problem for us. But defensively, it's probably just one of those things. It takes longer to sort out.
Ramone, it was 22 games unbeaten.
It was.
However, I just want to rein it back in a bit, because we don't usually do this. Like, we were including games in competitions that are second rate at best. Even this is Arsenal fans getting a bit gassed, because they're just trying to bump. Like, I would say stat padding. That's what it is, stat padding. Included Brentford from the League Cup. And I think it's 2 League Cup games you played now. Blackpool as well. 5-6 games in the Europa League, a competition that none of the top 6 aim to qualify any season. So let's just take it back in. It's 15 Premier League games. That's what I want to talk about, really. Because forget the rest of them. Like, if you win the Champions League, then that record may have been broken.
It was 14.
Up. 14, you're right, yeah. The first 2 and then up to 16. If you win the Champions League, it's very possible that record would have been broke up already, and then you'd say, 14 Premier League games unbeaten, or domestic, whatever. So let's focus on the Premier League. 14 games unbeaten, but you're still outside the top 4. If this is the best of Arsenal we're going to get, the top 4 is, which you touched about at the beginning of the season, is the aim of Unai Emery, and you'll be happy with that. Yeah. Maybe it's further away than it is likely.
I think it's for me, the difficult thing is not necessarily for Arsenal, but I think it's the way Chelsea and Spurs are playing as well. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and Spurs. No one's dropping points outside of the top 6. Everyone seems to be winning their games outside of the big 6, should I say. No one seems to be dropping points. Spurs somehow keep winning, last minute goals or whatever. They keep winning the game. Chelsea do the same. And so I feel like everyone stepped up levels to how it was maybe the past year or 2 ago. Maybe it would have been a bit easier at this stage of the season to be in the top 4. However, I don't think Arsenal have been great this season, defensively, definitely. But winning breeds confidence. And losing games breed confidence in the side. So when you're going on a certain run, when the fans are getting behind the team, when the players are now going on Twitter and saying, 22 unbeaten and da-da-da-da-da, obviously there's confidence brewing in the club. So
they're just getting ahead of themselves.
Maybe, but if that's going to help you carry on the run, I don't mind. Because, as long as you're not losing the games and you're going on a 22-game unbeaten run, you want to talk about it, brag about it, cool, and you're playing well, I don't have a problem with that. Do you know what I mean? If we were going 1-2 games unbeaten and losing the next game and we're like, we're back after another win, then it's like we're back to where we was before. Yeah. But if you're going 22 games unbeaten, 14 in the Premier League, then I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? And this is the problem. The thing is, like, I don't think Arsenal fans would have said that the run was great. We said we're happy with 22 games. No one's bragged about it to say that.
No one's going to complain if you go 22 games unbeaten.
Exactly. And so all we're doing is we're just happy that the results are coming. And there was a change. We weren't in this position this time last year. We're losing games at this stage to these sort of sides. The game against Southampton was coming. The defeat was coming. We were conceding goals. Yeah. We can't go conceding goals before half time and expect to win every game. That's a fact. We were getting lucky in certain games. However, there was a mentality in those games to not lose that game. Do you know what I mean? Also, fair enough, we were going behind, but second half it was like changes were being made. Emery was being held as great because he made the changes and it's working. But there was a mentality of we can't lose. And I feel like you can't have that every single game, because there'll be games where you play bad and you still need to get a result. Yesterday we played bad and it didn't look like we were going to get a goal. When I was watching the game, when we came back to 2-2, it was like, relief, we're back. We're back in the game now. Not we're going to go and win on this. I was like, let's just take a point and run because we're not playing well. And inevitably the goal came. Southampton could have scored a few minutes before with Shade Long, ruled out for offside. Great save by Leno. Before we talk about his bad mistake, it was a brilliant save. And if that was David De Gea, we'll still be talking about that save because it's brilliant. Came at him so fast from Yoshida. It was a great save, and it was offside. But then he made the mistake for the final goal. So I think we'll be satisfied with the way we've been playing for the past few months in terms of the results. But there's definitely a level of improvement to come. Having said that as well, we had two of our main centre-backs suspended for the game, and our other third centre-back who did come in is now injured for the next 9 months and holding. So we're now playing Koscielny, who definitely is not fit. He's been rushed back.
That's your guy, isn't he?
He's been rushed back.
You're like, the Kosh is back.
Yeah, the Kosh is back. But he's been rushed back.
He's not ready. He's
not ready at all. He's not ready at all. And he's playing next to Xhaka and Lichtsteiner, who are both not centre-backs.
But I'm going to question Emery there, because why was Xhaka at centre-back? You're lacking in centre-backs. You play three at the back. So you play the formation or the tactic that you need the most centre-backs for. That's the first thing. Secondly, last season, Monreal played centre-back a number of games last year. And this year, he plays... Well, this game, sorry, was it Emery? He plays Xhaka at centre-back. Probably one of the shortest guys on the field. Not that Monreal's much taller. And he puts Monreal left wing-back. Xhaka's played left-back before for Arsenal.
And it was poor.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible at Crystal Palace.
All right, but then, surely the centre-back, bearing in mind you don't have any... The centre-back partnership of the three is the most important, because even if you lack on the width, if crosses come in, at least you've got competent defenders in the middle to deal with it. So he's strengthened the wide position by playing those players in their best positions and compromised the centre-back
I can see the
I can
see the sense in doing that. Genuinely, I can see in the three, I can see the sense in doing that, because what you're saying is when you play that way in the five at the back, so three at the back, two wing backs. You need the wing backs to be able to. That's where your attacking width comes from. So if you're saying play Xhaka there, then essentially you've got no left side attack wise. So I actually can get that, but you're looking at him playing more as a sweeper, so less really as like a centre back, but more. But that's as a sweeper, as a centre back, as a two, you need someone who is more competent.
Maybe
as a centre back.
You had one half fit centre back.
So you play three. Three makeshift centre backs basically, or two. Makeshift.
That's what we did, though.
But no, that's what I'm saying is we're speaking like he's hamstrung, like he has to play five at the back. We'll play four, so you don't have to play Xhaka.
But this is the thing, because
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because you played the five, you understand why Xhaka was there. Yeah. I'm saying, well, don't play five, because Xhaka should not be playing centre back.
Yeah, but the thing is,
play four.
But who's the four then? Because Lichtsteiner's not a centre back.
I know, but I'm saying I would rather. Well, I'd rather have Lichtsteiner and Koscielny and Monreal with Bellerin as your back four than Lichtsteiner, Koscielny and Xhaka. Like, you're just putting Xhaka there for what reason? Because he's not a centre back.
The thing is,
it's better to put him in the centre midfield with Torreira.
I don't know if I would have done the same thing, but I understand it being the fact that Koscielny is not fit, so he can't cover. Just two at the back.
But then play Monreal and Lichtsteiner as a
and
two.
then who's playing left?
And play Xhaka left back.
But he's not good at left back.
But he's worse centre back, surely.
I don't know. I don't know if he is, because I think you can get away with being in a free. I think when you're a left wing back, if you have a right winger like Nathan Redmond who will run at you, you can get exposed so easily at left wing back. So I think you're safer being centre back than you are as a left back. And listen, I think. End of the day, I think even if Xhaka didn't play there, I don't think we would have got the result we wanted, because the whole team was poor, not just the back, the defence.
As much as you had your width, your fullbacks or wing backs playing in their positions, it was free crosses that were all let in by the natural. So you might as well play someone weak there and let the crosses come in anywhere. At least you have a bit of strength in the middle.
Trust me, more
crosses will come in. We would have lost 5-2 because Xhaka's playing in the.
And we'll concede more free kicks out wide there if Xhaka's playing there. Definitely.
Listen, he was in a difficult predicament, 100%. And so it's very hard to judge on that one game where you have to basically put some makeshift in. If it works, you're like, okay, you got away with it. If it doesn't, no matter what he did, whether you played Koscielny and Lichtsteiner and we lost 5-2, you say, oh, why don't you play Xhaka there? Why don't you play Monreal there? You're gonna get.
I would never call for Xhaka centre back. That's one thing I would.
Listen, you're gonna get criticised whatever you do, because the defence for me was, when I came into the game, when you say about first of all, when you asked about were you expecting to lose, I never expect to lose, but when I look at that defensive line, I'm worried. No matter who was there, no matter which person was going to be there, I was worried because I wasn't sure. Monreal himself isn't fit. Monreal has literally just also been rushed back. Kolasinac is now injured. So it was like we literally just forced him man together. And then Bellerin goes off at half time. Then we have to play Lichtsteiner, and Xhaka and Koscielny went to a back four because we literally we're done. I mean, Maitland-Niles isn't a natural left back, so that was again thrown on late because Lichtsteiner came off injured. So we're literally at the bare bones to the T. So I think it's a bit harsh to say he got it all wrong. I think he was.
Emery's been exposed. The
only reason in part of that game why I say where we did struggle is because I feel like when you take Xhaka out the midfield, there's a bit lacking there, and Guendouzi didn't hold his way with Torreira as much as he had at the start of the season. And one thing I do have a grind with, on the other point, is man that do things that they can't do. Why do they keep doing it? Guendouzi, you can't bang a goal from 30 yards. Stop trying to do it. Like, I understand you want to be the hero, yeah? But there's 5 minutes to go and you're banging shots from 30 yards. 3 of them. I'm thinking, bro, just pass it wide and build in. You ain't got that. I know you ain't got that. You know you ain't got that.
We don't know what happens in training, bro.
Nah, you ain't got that.
Landon Coney could be different, bro.
When you're 3-0 up, do it. Do what you have to do. When you're 2-2, you need a goal.
You pass it out.
Pass it out. You build it. I know it's hard because you're eager to score. You're rushing.
You gotta have the
but
patience.
you have This Arsenal have been known to just been relaxed in the final third and build their way into the goal sometimes, And this is the time you needed it. And I think there's criticism about Ozil coming onto the pitch and why did that happen. But part of that was because
Adrian Durham talks more because we brought on Ozil to win the game and he lost it.
But the thing is, it's Ramsey again. Ramsey is not fit as well. I think he was thrown on the bench and he wasn't ready. He got injured against Man United. I was so surprised he was back already because he was supposed to be out for 3-4 weeks. So I don't even think he's ready. Ozil comes on, and I think because of that composure to try and build a way through. But when you got Guendouzi shooting from 40 yards, I mean, what can you do? It's like you're missing out part of the play.
So with all of that, all the injuries and Arsenal still outside the top 4. As I said, 14 games in the Premier League unbeaten, 10 wins, one loss since the first 2 against Chelsea and Man City, but they're still 3 points behind Chelsea, 5 points behind Spurs. Is this like the best of Arsenal? And if it is, like, are you expecting them to get better as the season goes on and get into the top 4, or is this the best and it's just like, well, another season in the Europa League? Because the way that Spurs and Chelsea, Spurs especially, they've surprised me. I'm like, as good as Arsenal's doing, I don't know how they're gonna break into it. They broke in after the Northland derby. Did you go above them? And they just dropped out again.
Well, first of all, Ramone said that Chelsea and Spurs aren't dropping points outside the big 6, but just the other week, Chelsea lost 2-1. They lost to Wolves 2-1.
Yeah, but that's one game, and Spurs lost one as well. So out of all of them, if you're just losing one game, which you expected one are going to lose one, we lost to Southampton. You got to get more elsewhere. When we draw to Wolves and we draw to Man United, who are not playing well, and you draw to Liverpool, who at the time were playing well, but they build up. Spurs haven't drawn a game this season, not one. Yeah, so when that happens, you have to build up, get the 3 points everywhere. And so they're not okay. You lose one here or there. We said this the other day. Not going to be everyone outside the top 6, but if you're winning the majority, the others have to catch up.
But I think this Southampton, because I've been saying it for ages, that Arsenal aren't going to get very far defending the way that they defend. We said it last season with Liverpool. As great as their attacking was, as many goals as Salah scored and as many goals as the team scored, they only managed to finish 4th. And we say it about any team that defends poorly, you're not going to get very far if you cannot defend well. And it was only a matter of time till Arsenal lost to a Southampton, or they lost to a Cardiff or a Fulham or a team like that. It was only a matter of time, and it wouldn't surprise me if they lost another 2 or 3 by the end of the season. If they lost another 2 or 3, if they lost to, I don't know, Cardiff, or they lost to West Ham or a team like that, it wouldn't surprise me. I think this is, so far for this season, because I don't think anything major is going to happen in January, but I think so far this season, this is the best that we're going to see from Arsenal. I don't think they're going to, apart from the North London derby, I don't think they're going to beat any of the top 6. I don't see them beating Chelsea. I don't see them beating Man City. Don't see them beating Liverpool. So I think
possibly beat us at the Emirates, away from Old Trafford, possibly.
Yeah,
but in terms of the rivals for the top 4 now.
Yeah. So like you say, anything can happen in Derby. So apart from outside the North London Derby, the top 6, I see it difficult for them to picking up victories. They might get draws, like I said, they managed to get a draw against Liverpool. They might get a draw, but a draw isn't going to be enough to put you into the top 4. You need to beat these teams. And I think the game against Southampton showed what Arsenal lacked. They lacked squad depth. They don't have, apart from, you say they got maybe 12, 13 players at a stretch. Beyond that, they don't have quality players. So you were saying earlier, why don't your Ramseys or your Lacazettes start? Why doesn't he start with both Aubameyang and Lacazette? But I think what Emery is showing and what he wants is that he wants to have options off the bench. Say he plays Ramsey and he plays Lacazette and he's losing 2-0 or he's losing 2-1. Who does he?
Lacazette started against Huddersfield, didn't it? And then that was probably your worst game of the season.
Yeah. And then he's in a situation where he's drawing or he's losing, and he looks to the bench and he sees. Who does he see? That's what I'm saying. Who does? Niles.
Iwobi.
Iwobi.
He sees Iwobi.
Does that say?
Mkhitaryan.
But you can see that he wants to be in a situation where, like, not to the extravagant extent of Pep, where he looks at the bench, he's got Sterling, he's got Sartre, or he's got David Silva or Bernardo Silva or Mahrez. We're not saying that, but maybe come next summer, he wants to sign 2-3 players, possibly even another striker, so he can start the both of them and have another striker that can come off the bench. Maybe he wants to have to play both of them. But if you're playing your 2 best strikers and neither of them are doing anything effective in the game, who comes on? Danny Welbeck. Come on, man.
Well, no, because
Not anymore. He's out for 9 months.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think you haven't, like. I know you mentioned Mkhitaryan. I know he scored 2 goals, but you forget that guy. Trust me, forget that guy. The man's he will score a goal here or there, but I don't think you can rely. Like, you're not gonna say, yeah, we got Mkhitaryan come to the bench to change the game. I think for me, the only position, there's 2 positions I would say. The striker, if you start with one, you can bring the other one on, and between Ramsey and Ozil, as in, I'm not saying even Ramsey necessarily as good as Ozil just in terms of ability, but what he does for Arsenal.
He's our leading assist.
Yeah, so for what he does for Arsenal, if you will take off Ozil and bring on Ramsey, it's a quality replacement. If you will take off Aubameyang and bring on Lacazette, it's a quality replacement. Elsewhere, I don't know if you take off one and bring on the other, it's a quality replacement. So if you were to start with all of your stars, I agree, you're not going to have anything in the tank. So
now you win the game by half time.
Exactly. I get that point, but for me, if your leading assist maker and your second highest goal scorer, who's a striker, sitting on the bench, I don't really get that. I think, like Ramone kind of joked about it, but I think you go out to win the game. You don't go out into a game. For me,
then what if you're
thinking
not?
about
But then
what happens if this goes belly up? I don't think that's how you should be going into a game. So initially, it was exciting to see, we can change the game from the bench and all the rest of it. But there were points where I can't remember what game exactly, but I actually think it was a North London derby where at half time, I was telling you, I'm thinking, why are we starting? What was Iwobi doing on the pitch in the first place?
Well, Iwobi had a good start to the season, to be fair.
He had a good start to the season. I think he had a terrible first half in the North London derby, personally. And I think the game before that as well, he was quite poor. So for me, it's got to the point where the changes he's made have become somewhat predictable. He's going to make 1 or 2 changes at half time. They're probably going to win you the game. So
you want to see Lacazette and Aubameyang starting?
I want to see it for a stretch. You can go, they played 1 game together and it didn't work out.
You want to see?
I want to see them starting for a stretch of games.
The thing is, sorry, before you say it, I think it's not just us that has a problem with that. I don't think it's easy to have a squad where you're going to have quality replacements off the bench. Even Spurs, if Spurs were at their first team starting, like, their replacements off the bench aren't going to be good enough to come in and do. Lamela and Moura are not, they're not on Son's level.
No. Say that again. Moura, I would say Moura is on Son's level.
No.
In terms of quality,
no, he's not.
I think he is. I think
but even if he, Sissoko to come in for people like Dembele, the thing is, what you have to do is you have to get the best out of those players that come on, and I think that's what Poch is doing at the moment. He's getting the best out of the squad. He's got injuries as well. He's having to put on kids and stuff like that on the pitch. That he's getting the best out of them to play well. I think this is what Emery has to do now, because you put out your best team and the guys that come off the bench, you have to get the best out of them. You have to put them on with an expectancy to say, okay, you're going to come in this squad to help change the game. People like Iwobi and Mkhitaryan, that's what you have to do. You got to tell them, look, listen, I need you to go and win me the game. I need you to go out there and bring me back 3 points. The guys that I feel are the best starting squad haven't been the best today, so I've got to make a change, and I can't necessarily have a complete exact like for like player in those positions, and so you have to make the change. For me, you got to be bold and put your majority of the time, I'd say, put your best squad.
All I will say, obviously, I understand in terms of you go out there to kind of win the game before you have to make any substitutions. Say you win it by 70 minutes, so to speak. But we saw Liverpool last season. I know that they played well. But we knew Liverpool had like 11, 12 players at best. And so you knew the starting lineup every game. And if it wasn't working, they had no one to call on. And it hampered them at times, didn't it? So, I said, in some games, and maybe even like maybe a Southampton game, you'll say, just blow them away straight away. But maybe.
But then Liverpool played their best front three every week and they got to the Champions League final.
But in the league, they struggled, is what I'm saying. Because in the league, they finished... They got Champions League final, they finished 4th in the league. So somewhere, something was breaking down that they couldn't sustain.
A big part of that was due to their defence.
But if you got to have a team like us,
big part of that was due
if you have a team like us that's not in the Champions League, that can rest players in midweek for Europa League, then you have a free reign to play your best team in the Premier League, then do it. Like, you don't need to play either of them. I know
we've got December, January, no European competition in it, so we'll see what Emery does.
I still don't think he'll do it, because I still think he has the mindset of, what if?
I think as in change it and
I don't
stuff.
think he'll.
I don't think.
Or maybe it's his tactics, because he obviously plays like a front three. And if he's gonna play both Lacazette and Aubameyang's gonna have to go wide. And not that he can't play there, but he's not as effective there. And I guess maybe he just wants to play the players in their best position. So it just means playing Iwobi out wide and Mkhitaryan out wide. And Aubameyang coming.
But then he's gonna bring on Lacazette halfway through, and someone's gonna go wide anyway.
It depends. I don't know how when they bring
pretty
on
much how it goes. And then we win the game.
Sometimes it goes 2 up top. Sometimes it goes 2 up
They
top.
went 2 up top with Ramsey just behind them.
So there's clearly an option there to play them both.
But that's when you're going to win a game, and when you start a game, you do things sometimes where it's like, we have to go for the game. So we might leave a bit more space at the back because I'm going 2 up front, but it's fine because we need to win the game. Whereas you're not always willing to start as gung-ho, you might say, putting on 2 strikers up front, Ramsey behind it, because obviously you leave your risk at the risk at the back. So he might change it to bring on 2, but starting with 2 is completely different to play in the last 20 minutes.
I guess what he did against Huddersfield is he put 2 of them up top, and then he played Xhaka, Guendouzi and Torreira in the midfield because he was worried that might happen.
And you were terrible.
Yeah, but you can't just scrap an idea if it hasn't worked once. You know what I mean? It may just be that they might not have been good at a game, but you got to try these things to say, okay, he's got to find his best team. He's got to find who is going to be my best starting lineup. Who's going to win. At the moment, his starting lineups have been poor because they've not worked any of the games of the season. So in my mindset, I'm thinking if most of your time you'll keep benching one of them and it's not working, play them both consistently and see what happens. I don't know.